Okay, so Samantha asked me about duplication tonight. So I'm just going to talk to y'all for about 15 minutes or so, and then I'll open it up for question and answer at the end. So, okay, so I'm going to be honest. I have a love-hate relationship with the word duplicatable, and I'm going to explain a little why here about that. I'm actually not one that believes that everything should be duplicatable. Once you become a Joel, you hear that word really thrown around a lot. Someone will do something and someone will say, well, that's not duplicatable. So I want to talk to you guys about when to be duplicatable, when not to be, and how to see the difference. So there are certain things you're going to do with your Plexus business that should be simple and that you should be able to pass on to your downline. And some of those things will come very naturally for you, like following up with customers and ambassadors, having a team board, encouraging on your team board, training material and files that are shared. These are things that we all tend to do that are duplicatable things. But then there are other things that aren't as, common for us to do or aren't as natural for us to do, like phone calls. I think that is one of the most underutilized duplicatable tools that I have started to use more and more and more, and it's yielding great results. And three-way calls with prospects, three-way calls with your upline and their new sponsors, just one-on-one training calls with different people on your team. Those are great things. But I want to take it a step further and ask you guys, for you to ask yourselves, do you have a set process that you do to recruit customers and ambassadors that you can train to your new level ones to do the same thing and get the same results? And that's kind of the key where sometimes duplicatable doesn't always come into play, because I can easily say post on Facebook every day, and not everyone is going to get the same results that I get, because there are three major factors that come into play. That's your network. Some people will come into Plexus with only 200 Facebook friends, and others will come in with 1,200 Facebook friends. That's your testimony. Some people are going to have lost 60 pounds while others are still a work in progress. And then there's your influence over your network. Some people just have a great influence over people, where others, they just don't have that charisma. And these are not things that you can really even, predict. Like, you don't always know how someone's going to have on their network. You might sign someone up that has 1,500 Facebook friends and you're all excited, and then they hear crickets. They hear nothing from their audience. Maybe their audience is already oversaturated, or maybe their audience just doesn't take them seriously because they've never been into health before. So they don't have credibility in the health market. So how do you get past that? Like, how do we work with something that's not duplicatable? And so these are three huge factors that vary from person to person. If you find someone that has these three factors, it's the trifecta, and those are the people that you see sign up and Fast Start Gold or just take off, and you ask yourself, how did that happen? Like, how did they do that? And honestly, usually if you look, they have those three magic things, and it just happened for them. That's how it happened for me. It really did. I had a big Facebook network. I had instant weight loss, and I have always been into health. So I had a good influence on my network, and I got in where my network was not oversaturated yet. So I had that perfect thing going at the moment. It wasn't that I was doing something different than what you might be doing. It was, I had this non-duplicatable thing. So we need to be able to train our teams to still have a successful business despite these things. So I feel like I totally started off wrong on this. I started the easy way, just posting on Facebook, and when I would add new people, I would just send in the files. And there's nothing exciting about getting this long email full of documents on what to do when you first join. You might be super excited that you joined, and then you get this email and it's overwhelming and you can't, go through all the information, and then you just kind of, you read half of it, you get through a few files, and then you get distracted, and then you forget, and you lose the excitement. So the very first thing that I think that should be part of your process, and some of this process is going to be something that you're going to have to decide what works for you and your team. I do think the very first thing you should be doing as soon as you sign up an ambassador is getting on the phone with them. It is so crucial to catch them when they are excited, when they just sign up. Don't wait, even 24 hours. For some people, I know a lot of ambassadors will actually walk them through the sign up process on the phone. They won't even let them sign up without a phone call. They'll call them up first and be like, let's do this together. Let me walk you through the process. So that way when they're on the phone, they can explain to them, this is what AutoQual is. This is what you want to do here. This is the package that you want. And then as soon as they get signed up, you can feed on that excitement. Like, they can hear it more in your words, and you can very simply tell them what to do. One of the first things I want to tell them what to do is to make a list of the people that you want to do this with, and go talk to them. Find 3, go talk to your best friend and tell her you want to do this with your best friend. I promise you do want to do this with your best friend. I mean, I do it with mine, and I can't imagine not doing this with her. And so go talk to your best friend, go talk to your family, go talk to your sister. You want to do it with your sister, and get those people signed up with you, and then go find 3 customers. Go find 3 people who need this. So go find your 3 ambassadors, your 3 customers. If you can get people doing that the first month, they're going to be so excited that they did that. I mean, that's a huge accomplishment. They're going to have a paycheck that pays for their products, and they're going to have a little team going, and then you're going to train them to do the same thing with their little team that they have going. And it can be very as simple as that. And make sure that, and then after that, utilize social media, but don't expect it to initially happen with social media, because the initial happening with social media usually takes those 3 things we talked about earlier. And for some, they'll have that. But the other ones, they're going to need to go to their friends and their family and their people that they know need the products, and directly pick up the phone and call them and tell them that this is what they're doing. Support me in this. Do this with me to get it going. I mean, we all have 3 people that will do this with us. And it's just a matter of, are we brave enough to pick up the phone and call them and tell them, I want you to do this with me. Consistency is another thing that when you're on the phone with them, you're going to need to talk to them about. And discouragement, like, don't get discouraged if you post on Facebook and you get crickets. Like, that's more normal than not, and that's okay. Like, it takes time building belief in your audience. Your audience needs to see you doing this for a while before they believe you and they trust you that it works. And so it's just going to take a little bit of that building belief time, and really enforce the importance of consistency, because if you're not consistency, your audience isn't going to believe you. So that is key. It's key in following up. And then it's also a good time to let them know that if they have any prospects, like if once you talk to your friend, if they're, have questions, let's get on a phone call together. Here's my number. Make sure here's the times I'm available. Let's do 3-way calls. Let's set that up with your friends and family that you call, or 3-way texts. Like, some people are more, phone is most effective, but I know it's outside of our comfort zones a lot of times. So if you have a new level 1, that is a little outside of her comfort zone, 3-way chat on Facebook, if someone asks you a question initially that you don't know how to answer, pop my name in there and I'll answer it for you. And that way you can kind of see how I use wording and see how I answer questions, and you can model that later with your new level 1s. I also do 3-way text with every time my level 1s add a level 1. So every time I get a new level 2, I'll message them and I'll add my level 1 to it, and I'll just say, hey, I'll introduce myself. I'll Facebook friend them. I'll introduce myself and tell them who I am, ask them, what products they're taking. Just kind of, I'll ask questions to get to know them and get that conversation going, just in case, my level 1 hasn't, gotten them off to a right start, so that I can do that for them to kind of help them build excitement. But it's really important to capitalize on that excitement when someone first joins. So those are some of the duplicatable steps that I take. Now, again, going back to my love-hate relationship with duplication, I also think it's very, very important once I have a level 1, once we get through the basics, I want to get to know their gift. What is their skill set and what is their gift? What are they good at? And that's going to be different for every person. Some people love to talk on the phone, so that's going to be great. And there are some things that we aren't gifted at, but we're going to need to work through it. But then there's some things we aren't gifted at, and that's okay. Not everyone is going to be one that hosts huge meetings every month. And that's okay. Like, if you don't want to host a huge meeting, I mean, you're probably going to need to get out of your comfort zone and stand up and give your testimony. But you don't have to be the one hosting it every month. Like, that's not necessary to be a Diamond Ambassador. I got to Emerald without ever even attending an opportunity meeting. So it's finding people's strengths and working with that. And so that's one of the other first things I like to do is get to know that person. What are they good at? What is their strengths? And then helping them use that with Plexus. My strength is networking. Like, I'm not good about talking to the products, but I am really good at building relationships. So I can go out, I can build a relationship with the person, I can Facebook friend them, and then they see my testimonies. So if you have somebody that tells you, I'm not a good salesperson, awesome, I'm not either. Here's how I've done things. I think that's great. And so find out, what the person's skills are. If it's not a duplicatable skill, it's okay. Run with it. So that is my take on duplication and non-duplication. So what's y'all's questions? Come on, I know we have questions. So what are y'all's current process and how you do things when you sign up a new ambassador? Do you have a system? Samantha.
I was going to say, most of the people on this call, I'm scrolling through to see who's on the call. Most of the people on this call don't have downlines. I would say probably like 4 do. But what we do is we add them onto our team. And then I'm the same way. I always have to talk on the phone to someone before I get them to join my team. And then I have like a level 1 thread that we constantly kind of talk through and, add people in. And, something that we do is we make sure that we like friend request everyone, on our like small team.
Yeah.
Just so that we can help each other with posts and things like that. And then we tag people like in your 3-ring binder and on the important, I've done like a Plexus 101 training call. So we tag them in that. Just try to make sure that we're giving them as much information without overloading them. I'm not someone who's going to sit down and read through something, but I will like listen to my car as I'm driving to like a YouTube or a free conference call playback or something like that. So that's kind of what we've been, doing this far. I love you're kind of talking about like your gift set and, something that's also really good that I feel like I've just kind of started doing is just making sure that I am aware of their goal and what that looks like, because I might want them to be an Emerald Ambassador and they really might just want $50 off their product.
Right.
So just kind of setting that expectation.
And I love what you said too about you're not going to read the file, because there are some people that are not going to listen to a call. They want to read a file. And there are some people that won't read a file. They want to listen to the call. And then you have some people that won't do either one.
Yeah.
So it is, you really have to learn that not everybody is, actually very few people are over researchers and, are just going to dive into this head first and, figure it out and make it happen. Most people really need their hand held and they really need to be walked through. Most people, this is their first time in network marketing and it's a whole new journey, and so they don't realize the potential that's sitting in front of them a lot of times. They don't realize how easy it really can be and how simple it can be. And I think that's another thing that is so much more, comes across in words. If I'm not on a phone, I use the talk to text thing on on Facebook all the time. I don't like to type up what I'm saying nearly as much as I like to say it in my voice, so people can hear my tone and they can hear what I'm trying to say and they can feel the excitement. And so, if you're not ready for a phone call, at least use that so they can hear your excitement and hear, and try to make it super simple. Make it seem like this is easy. It is. Don't overcomplicate it, because if we overcomplicate it, I hear people all the time say, I'm not ready to share yet because I don't know about the products. Well, I don't know about all the products. It takes a long time to learn everything about all the products. It is definitely a long journey. It's like getting a degree here in nutrition. There's a whole lot we have to learn. And so it's okay if you don't know the products. Just share a testimony and you get a question, we'll answer it together.
Yeah. That actually happened with me today. We had one of the girls who just joined our team in the last couple of days, Rachel. She was like, hey, is there any way you could help me? Because I want to introduce, Plexus. And we've already had a training meeting. We met last week. And she was like, I just kind of don't know exactly what to say because I just don't know all the information. And I said, what I suggested to her was, I want you to share why you joined Michelle and her results, and then the results why you like it so far. And then I said, and as soon as someone comes back with you with a question, let's pop in a three-way and you can hear me, bounce the ball back and forth so that you can learn through me. And
Right.
So that's something that I feel like is really working. And I know BB did that call where she said, all you really need to know is two people's stories. And if you don't have one yet, it's fine. Just know two people's stories. And when people ask, you can just refer, so-and-so had blankety blankety blank happen, and this is their results, which I really like, because I feel like so often people are just like, I haven't lost 75 pounds, so I feel like I can't say anything,
Right.
which is not true.
Yes. And it's also important to remember that just because you don't think your testimony is big enough doesn't mean it's not good. Like, really, really think about every little thing that Plexus is doing for you. Did you used to have headaches and now you don't? Are you sleeping through the night now? Like, these are such common things that people see changed, but they don't think it's valuable to share. But really, it is super valuable to share, because most people would give anything to be able to sleep at night, So even though it's not weight loss, doesn't mean that your testimony still isn't important. So still add that in, when you're sharing. You don't even say Plexus, just say, I'm finally sleeping through the night now, yay. And people will ask, what are you doing? What's happening? Why do you have energy now? Why are your headaches gone? So don't think that your testimony is not enough because you're not to your end goal yet.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yes.
Okay, so I started in the very end of October, and I just silver 2 days ago. So
Yay.
It's kind of been this, I have over 30 customers. My question is, how do I get them to become ambassadors? That's my problem. They're just happy paying. I'm like, don't you want it for free? Don't you want it to help cover some of the cost of it? Hello. So they're not biting. And I'm I keep saying that, you can get it for free. I know you love it,
Right.
I don't know. And the only way I've gotten people is by doing the join my team for free and I'll pay you $35.
Right.
That's how I've gotten 3 people.
Well, I think a lot of times it's the wording that you use sometimes. I wouldn't necessarily even say, you can join my team and you can earn this for free, because suddenly people think, I'm going to have to do something to earn that for free. And if they're not there yet, if they're not ready for that, no thanks, that's not for me. But if you say, I just wanted to see, I know you've been loving your products. I just wanted to see if you would be interested in getting them for a cheaper cost. It's a $35 a year fee. That's all it is. There's no strings attached. And then you can order whenever you want. You can log into your back office. You don't have to call customer service to make changes. It's so much easier for you to place your orders. If you make it like that, it suddenly doesn't sound like this scary network marketing thing, but it sounds kind of like, oh, well, that's kind of like a little wholesale club. I can do that. Not everybody has to want the business to be a helpful ambassador for you. And you would be so surprised how quickly those wholesale people are once you get them on to get them actually selling. I would still go on a phone call with them once they do it. I'd just be like, I'm going to walk you through the back office and show you how to do it and show you how to order. And I just wanted to throw in there real quick, if you have 3 people that do ever want to do this with you, that's all it takes to get to the first advancement. It's a $100 bonus. If you get 3 preferred customers, it will pay for your product. You don't have to, but just throwing that out there. You know, and a lot of times just once you get them hooked and you show them how easy it is, they're more likely. But if you start with that, it's suddenly scary. People put the wall up and they're like, I don't want anything to do with that.
Right,
So,
right, okay.
Yeah.
And and this weekend, like when I started posting it, like wholesale, Sam's, Costco, you know, what's it going to do for you in a year, you know,
right.
blah, blah, blah. And that's when people started biting. And then I had this conversation with Samantha. I was like, I've never like marketed it like this. It's freaking me out, you know, like what do I do? You know?
Yeah.
But then I actually have people interested. So I guess it was just kind of a marketing little wording strategy.
Yes. And like I said, I do think that it is easier. And another thing, I mean, I really do. It is a balance. You don't want all wholesale ambassadors. Clearly, you do want some that eventually you're going to come on and work the business. But with the way that this company is booming right now, if your customer is not your best friend and you've had them for a few months, you want to make them an ambassador because somebody else is going to. You know, their best friend is going to sign up under somebody else. Mm-hmm. And then I mean, you can't blame them for joining their mom or joining their best friend. I wouldn't blame. I mean, I've lost so many customers to other people, and I mean, they didn't know me as well, so I don't blame them. And so that's there is kind of that urgency to start reaching out to your customers. And if they are happy customers, you know, we can make them happy ambassadors too. And then they're so much more likely to order other products. Again, it's all about convenience. Some people don't want to pick up a phone call and add X factor to their order, but if they can just go online and do it on payday, you know, they'll do that, you know, so you can get them on more products. So yeah, I mean, I have had a very easy time converting customers to ambassadors by using that tactic. Anytime I have made it no pressure, here's what it is, you know, and I'll check in with them frequently and just, you know, I'll use that same wording every time.
Okay, thanks so much.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Rudy, I know you have one. It's burning.
Well, this is my first month in May. I got one customer under me, and I talked to my brother and my mom and my dad, and they're all very interested. I got them. My mom and my brother have diabetes, so that's, you know, of course, they're very, very interested in this product, and it has done great for me. I've lost 45 pounds, and I'm doing great. I'm very excited, and I've worked a lot talking on the phone, and I'm just needing to get these customers signed on is what I'm working on and need to be working on. I mean, everybody that I've talked to so far, which is, you know, my family and some people on Facebook, I can talk to them on the phone, and I feel great when I'm talking to them on the phone. I'm just trying to get them signed on as customers, preferred customers is what I'm working on still.
Right. So they tell you they want to do it and then they just don't follow through?
Yes. Yeah, that's what I'm getting right now. Yes.
Right. Right. Well, maybe have you given them samples and stuff to try? Have they tried?
Right now, I've only given one person samples, and today I talked to somebody else. I told them I'm gonna give them a sample tomorrow, and I'm starting slowly, but yes, I'm trying that too.
Yeah.
Told me about that, giving samples, and so yes.
Yeah, and a lot of times I won't even do like the big samples because those do get a lot more expensive for you. I mean, sometimes it's even just one stick of Slim because people are afraid it's going to taste gross, you know, and, you know, just give them one pack and then call them the next day and be like, did you love it? Are you ready to order? Let's get you your order placed. Let me help you, you know, and walk them through it, you know, just and really capitalize on payday. Like I can't enforce that one enough. I just got a message that said my free meeting will end in 10 minutes. Okay, so I guess I have to wrap it up or I have to pay $10.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so, I mean, I can't. But But I mean, because we are the 1st and the 15th, you will notice big booms in customers and ambassadors as you build your business. So, I mean, I would start following up with those people on the 14th. Like, start reaching out to all the people that you have talked to, because you only have so much money to spend every paycheck, and people tend to spend it that first day, and then once they've spent that extra money, they're out for 2 more weeks. They're not going to buy anything else for 2 more weeks. So I would really, right now you might not be getting much because it's the 12th. Most people are, the average American is living paycheck to paycheck. So,
right.
So, yeah.
Okay.
I'd love to kind of touch on that too.
Yeah.
Something that I've done when people have said like, hey, I really want to do this, but I can't, afford it until the 15th. I'll go ahead. I like to talk to every single one of my customers, and before I talk, like all my potentials, I should say, before I get off the phone, I ask them for the order. And if it's something that they want, I always have pen and paper handy, and I write down all of their information, and I do their order for them. So for those people who tell me, hey, I can't afford this until X, whatever day of the day is I get paid, I'll ask them, why don't I go ahead and get your information, and I will process that order for you on this day, and I'll send you a text that day and just confirm that this is still something you're wanting to do. For me, I feel like most of the people that I work with are women and moms who tend to put themselves last. But if they financially commit to me verbally, they're prioritizing those funds at that moment. And so I just feel like so often for me, I'll put myself last because, this class came up and I want to give my kid this, private lesson, or, my kid needs a bike, or whatever, my air conditioning went out, whatever it is. I just feel like if they prioritize themselves verbally with me and I'm talking with them on the phone and I can kind of lock them in with that, they're, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to text them on the 15th and be like, hey, I'm putting some orders through. Just wanted to, make sure we're good to go. I have everything, in the computer right now. And they're like, yes, please, do that. So that's something that I just feel very comfortable with. I know not everyone has that same comfort level, but it's something that has really, really worked for me.
Okay, very nice. Thank you.
That's great. I like that. Yeah.
What about you, Rosa? You got anything?
I'm just sitting and listening. I kind of have the same problem as Rudy a little bit. I live in a Hispanic community and everybody's watching. What I have found that's helped me the most, not so much networking, because a lot of people that I know personally, they don't have computers. And so what I'm having to do is I ordered brochures and I'm giving it to them in Spanish and English. And then I do the follow-ups and stuff like that. But there again, there's that money factor involved. And a lot of my friends, and I have a lot of friends from when I used to work, they don't have the credit cards. They're on the food stamps and stuff like that. And so, I have to kind of redirect how I do things a little bit different. And it's a lot harder. And I'm talking to my upline, my daughter, Rachel, about this, and she's seeing this too. But on the flip side, I have a lot of professional friends too, and they're kind of watching because they're all police officers and they're all leery about every little thing. So, I'm on both sides of the coin trying to, work it. But I think, I just keep my faith and just, stay positive. And, my husband's had great results. I'm sharing the testimonies. My mom has had great results. Sharing her testimonies, my testimonies, and they're seeing this, and the family is seeing this too. So I've had 2 sister-in-laws that are kind of interested, but they're again, they're in that same little boat. So I'm just staying positive. It'll come around.
I have seen some ambassadors be consistent for 6 months and have nothing, and then boom. Like Jamie Mays, she just turned emerald. She did not get her first ambassador. I think it was 6 months before she got her first ambassador. And so, and then she shortly went silver right after that. And then boom, like suddenly, 8 months later, she was emerald. But it took her 6 months of consistency before she saw anything. So everyone's journey is going to be different. Some people, it just takes them a lot longer to get their audience to believe what they're selling, So
and I don't mean to interrupt, but the thing I've noticed about the Hispanic community, and Rudy will confirm this too, even though I'm white, my husband's Hispanic, and I work in a Hispanic community. Once the family realizes it's good, then the whole familia. And he does that too. You know, it's like, you know, a birthday party. You don't have a party for 10 people. You have a party for 50, and then the cousins and cousins and cousins 15 generations down. So, you know, I'm just sitting back and waiting. I know it's going to happen. Rudy's, it's going to happen for you too. You know, we just got to play it a little bit different, I guess. You know, that's all I can think. But, you know, I've done my list. I do my follow-ups, and I'm better on the phone or in person than a lot of computer networking, because I don't have a big list, but I am better at the phones and, you know, having lunch or whatever that needs to be done.
Yeah. Well, that's great.
You can see with your Steve.
Well, thank you guys for taking time out and coming on this tonight. And I think this is y'all's first Zoom meeting, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad y'all joined us. I will post the recording of it later tonight so that y'all can rewatch it or share it with anybody else.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Nikki, so much. We really appreciate it.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Okay, good night. Bye, guys.